because it couldn't fit enough bullshit into 1.5 hours, Doom Megalopolis comes back with part 2 with a vengeance. So let's pry open this barrel of stupidity together, and if we're lucky afterwards, we'll be able to look at ourselves in the mirror without wanting to die. Woo!
So, where did we leave off? Oh yeah, the asshole rapist is getting married to a priest's daughter immediately after meeting her for the first time. Wait, what the fuck?
Yeah, literally, the scene after he first meets her, he's marrying her. And what's worse, she's arguably the main protagonist, and this is the first time we've ever seen her. You don't do that!
Yes, Keiko here is arguably the main protagonist. She's the one who winds up defeating Kato by the show's end, so why are we only now introduced to her? Plus, if this is the first we ever see of the main heroine, what was the point of the first 2 episodes?
I am actually ashamed of myself. I shouldn't be this pissed over something this stupid and inane. And maybe I wouldn't be, if it wasn't for the fact that I seem to be the only one who sees this show for what it really is.
IMDb has it at a 7.1 out of 10. To get that some perspective, Hitalia is at 7.3. Hell, it's even averaging a 4 out of 5 stars on Amazon.
I'm not saying it deserves to be radically lower, but I am saying that this is not a 7.1.
I know the narrative is supposed to be episodically driven, but this show absolutely fails at maintaining focus. The 3rd episode just sporadically flashes back and forth between the rapist and his family and a bunch of nameless bureaucrats in their attempts to dig a new subway system. Apparently, their digging is upsetting an ancient dragon that lives in the earth, causing tremors that collapse and trap the workers.
Huh. Earthquakes in Japan. Yeah, I'm not touching that.
Well, it appears that Kato just gave up on trying to resurrect the spirit from the first half, and has chosen instead to use this new dragon spirit to destroy Tokyo instead. At least that's what I think his plan is. The show barely gives enough time to let us breathe before it shifts gears and shows us another scene that doesn't add up to anything.
I ask again, if Kato was just going to give up on summoning the spirit from the first half, then what was the point of it all? You know, aside from pissing me off.
But be vigilant, for the three-eyed demon is already aware that you walk among us. Soon he will possess your very soul.
Yeah, that never happens.
Welcome home, husband.
So, how was your day? Anything happen while I was out?
Not really, nothing in particular.
That's fine.
You mean besides Kato taking over your sister-in-law's body and threatening you? Then again, look who you were talking to.
But still, I'm willing to believe there's a cosmic balance to things beyond our understanding. Something's causing the earthquakes.
There will be no more earthquakes.
That takes care of that, then. If Keiko says there's to be no more earthquakes, then there's to be no more earthquakes.
Try as you might, Megalopolis, you will not force me to make a Japan earthquake joke.
Apparently, Keiko has had enough of Kato dicking around with her and her family. Seriously, those Geta sandals? Versace! So she decides to plaster the house with charms to ward off his magic. Unfortunately, the asshole rapist thinks they don't feng shui with the living room furniture and throws a hissy fit.
Listen, Keiko. This is not your father's temple. This is my house you live in.
I mean, who are you, my wife? Oh, how awkward.
Turns out the charms work like a, well, charm, as they manage to repel Kato's attacks. This prompts Kato to bust out the big guns. By that I mean float on top of a gigantic manta ray that Keiko destroys in less than 2 minutes.
While that is all sorts of anticlimactic and pointless, it's nowhere near as bad as the B-plot, where a team of scientists use a Buddha robot to dig miles beneath the Earth's surface to an invisible dragon's heart. Give me a moment. No one can take so much stupidity at once. You know, outside of Dane Cook's fan base.
Either the charms were a one-time use only kind of thing, or Keiko let her guard down, but Kato manages to kidnap Yukiko, again, and takes her down into the earth, with Keiko hot on his trail. For reasons that will forever elude me, the show decides that if Yukiko should be in this episode, she should be sacrificed and be completely naked.
This is uncomfortable.
All seems lost, but the scientific team manages to break through to the Dragon Heart Chamber where Keiko and Kato are fighting. At least I assume they did, since the show didn't have any establishing shots showing where the team is in reference to Keiko and Kato. The team sets off the robot to explode, which somehow causes random veins to burst and Kato to lose his dark powers.
Oh, you were expecting me to be all angry and confused at this random shit the show keeps pulling out of its ass. Listen, anything that can hurry up this shit pile can only help at this point.
After defeating Kato for a second time, Keiko manages to find Yukiko stumbling through the cave, unhurt but still very much naked.
Is it over?
I wish. I'm almost out of scotch.
Believe it or not, the fourth and thankfully final episode is where the show really takes a hard left turn into total bullshit. It starts off, oddly enough, with the asshole rapist sister and her daughter, Yukiko, floating around and writing out nonsense equations. The show tries to pass it off by saying that Kato has possessed them both, and are using the both of them to solve an equation dealing with celestial bodies and their movement.
Okay, why does a sorcerer need calculus to do anything? He's a sorcerer! Just magic that shit!
I mean, not explaining at all how or why Kato can do all of this ritual magic would be preferable than what they wind up doing. But again, I'm getting ahead of myself. We see that Keiko is dreaming about being tentacle raped by Kato, egging her on to hate him, which, honestly speaking, she has every right to. But of course, her dream was meant to insinuate that by hating him, she would only come under his malevolent spell. No, she has to play the passive-aggressive bitch and forgive him and be merciful to him.
Fuck that noise! Pull his pants around his ankles, put a gun up his ass, and blam! Buckwheat!
What?
Buckwheats.
Oh my god. He said that?
That's what he said, buckwheats.
We cut back to Otacon talking with the rapist, conjecturing over why Kato chose the rapist's sister in the first place to be his conduit, and inadvertently brings up memories of when the rapist first molested his sister when he was a teenager. Thus begins one of the most hateful, self-centered, pity-me diatribes I've ever sat through.
Well, what about my life? I'm expected to spend my days watching over a half-mad sister who may or may not have been to hell and back, and I'm supposed to provide for her brat, the bastard spawn of her liaison with a demon lover?
Oh my dear sweet lord, how tough do you have it? Not only do you have to take care of your mentally damaged sister that you raped, but you'll also have to take care of your daughter/niece. You know what? I think I'm going to start a fundraiser to help you out. In fact, someone get me Bob Geldof's number. I'm sure he'd bend over backwards to throw a benefit concert just for you. Don't you worry, asshole, because when Bono is up there on stage, guilt-tripping the audience about you and your plight, you'll finally get all of the sympathy you've been waiting for since you first took your sister's virginity. You worthless sack of shit!
Sorry about that. This anime is really fucking terrible.
I see things too like Keiko. All sorts of things I wish I couldn't see. Secret things. When will it end?
That's what I'm asking!
And as if everything the show has done up until now wasn't stupid enough, the show pulls the drag chute for 5 minutes by trying to act smart and throw bullshit science terms and theories at us, expecting us to take them at face value. I'm not exaggerating when I say that nearly everything they bring up in this sequence is complete bullshit.
Now, I could spend like half an hour explaining how everything they're talking about in this scene is like complete bullshit, but I think the scotch is starting to go to my head. And somebody just pissed my pants. I'm not sure who.
The noose is quickly tightening as Kato pulls the moon closer to Earth and causing horrible cataclysms the world over, so the asshole rapist decides to cut off Kato's connection to his sister and Yukiko by straight up murdering them. Luckily, Otacon and some guy manages to stop him before he can finish the deed, but not without Yukiko letting it slip that she's really the asshole rapist's daughter.
And while I do welcome the hail of punches that are thrown his way by Otacon there, I have to play the bad guy and bring up the uncomfortable fact that she can't possibly be his daughter.
Remember back in the first half when I said that Kato halted the ritual after impregnating her with the purple energy when he discovered that there was already a life growing inside her? Yeah, that happened before the asshole rapist allegedly impregnated his sister.
Either the asshole has time-traveling sperm, or we got a plot hole the size of fucking China.
It all seems bleak, however, as Kato continues to pull the moon closer and closer to Earth. Fuck you, cat! Luckily, Keiko manages to divine Kato's location and charges into his lair, easily dispatching his surrounding minions. So here it is, the final showdown between good and evil, purity and corruption, dark and light, love and hate. And it's won by giving Kato here a naked hug and kiss. Yes. Seriously.
Really? Could it end any other way? I mean, if it didn't end in the most trite, wasteful, and depressing way possible, I would have been disappointed. Fuck you! I have been walling around in shit for way too long. I think we need to change the scenery. So be prepared, ladies and gentlemen. And check your balls, because you're about to have them kicked up into your skull. Till next time.